everyone. Long time no see. I know I've kind of been out of commission the last few weeks, but a lot going on. Talked to several of you and they said, where have you been? And it's been, I guess it's been 3 weeks since I've done a live. And I'm a little hoarse tonight with allergies, so bear with me. We'll get through it, but give everybody a couple of minutes here to hop on, and while they're doing that, I'll show you what we're going to be painting tonight. But I've had company for a couple of weeks, and then I started working on some Saturdays because my husband had some minor surgery. He's fine, but anyway, so I've just been out of commission completely. I have been painting, I just haven't done any lives, so bear with me here while I'm going to try to get this video pulled up so I can watch your comments. I still have not been successful in doing that, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I'm going to try on my iPad so that I can see your comments a little bit better. See if that'll show up here. Ew, that means I have to go through all the pictures of looking at myself. Okay, somebody tell me if you know what I'm doing wrong. I'm on my iPad and I want to see the comments. So do I go to videos? I'm not sure. So if you see something that that you can tell me, let me know. And I'm going to go ahead and take my glasses off because I can already see the glare myself. It's been raining and storming here for the last few days. And see if anybody else is on. Okay, hey Amber. Amber's watching. Amber, you need to tell me what I'm doing wrong on the iPad because I'm not seeing this video on my iPad. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. See lots of pictures. It looks like I've been busy just by scrolling through all the pictures. Let's see if it'll show me videos here. So do you have any suggestions? Tell me what to do. We may have to try this again later. This is like round number 2. Let me see what these notifications are here. Nope. That's not it either. Okay, I'm not seeing any, and I'm not going to waste any more time on it. We're going to have to play around with it. So you may see me coming on live here soon and just playing with it a little bit. Hi, Renee. Hey, Ashley. I've been seeing all your kids riding all the horses, and I was most shocked at Lane. The saddle's 10 times bigger than he is, but he did so good on that. Ashley has 3 small children, and they're all doing barrel racing and all kinds of things on horses. Big horses, real horses, and they're tiny. One of them's in my 2- and 3-year-old class, but he gets on it like he owns it. So here's what we're painting tonight. Since it is Memorial Day, I thought we would do something a little patriotic. I did this one last week, but this is just a little teddy bear. I've got something that I'm working on. Finished this one. You could see that. Finished it last night, and I'm going to do something different with it. And I'm not going to tell you yet, but I'll show you tomorrow or the next day with some pictures of what I'm going to do with this one. And it's going to be a little bit different, but that's going to be available in the craft show in November. So I've been painting a lot the last 2 or 3 days. I've almost finished the little ironing board and iron. Did some shadow boxes and things I'll show you here in just a minute. But for those of you that are painting, I know that you've already gotten your little bear base coated. This is what we're doing tonight. This is out of MDF, 1/4 inch MDF. I've had this little guy forever. I don't even remember where I got him, but he was Patriotic, so I thought we would do him, paint him tonight. And hi, Rhonda Hunter. Glad you're watching tonight too. So let me see if I can get this off here. And I guess I better silence my phone. There we go. So you're not hearing all the beeps. So what I've done with this little guy, and I should have gotten something to prop him up with. Let's see if we can do that. I don't know if you'll be able to see him or not, but we'll prop him up there a little bit. So I just copied him on a copier and just traced around him. And I did notice when I did this one, I flipped him. So a trick to doing that, if you've got a pattern on one side, but you want it reversed to the other side, if you will put your pattern, the copied printed side, up against a window so that the light comes through it, then you can trace it so easily. It'll show you everything. Just put it up towards just put it on the window. You could even tape it on the window, just a little piece so it won't go anywhere, and just trace your pattern. So that way it'll fit the way you want it, because sometimes you want something facing a certain way depending on what you're doing. So that's what I did on this one. I've gone ahead and base coated. Now this wood that I'm using here is called Luan or Luan. I don't know how you say it. It's L-U-A-N something at Lowe's. I really don't care for it that much, and I probably won't use it again unless it's just for something specific. It does splinter when you're cutting it, and I did cut a bunch of these out. But I mean, it's going to do fine for what we're doing tonight. But for more finished pieces, I wouldn't use it. I would use the MDF or the pine wood on it. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get our little stars painted. We're going to base coat on those so that, hi Mom, so that they can be drying. So we're going to get a little base coat of white. So you're going to need white, black, blue, and we'll go over the colors as we get to them. And he's not going to stand up. So we'll just reference him every now and then. I'll put him over here. And I'll show you what we're going to do sometime this week with that big can. But right now, let's just get some white. This is Americana Snow White. So it's really a bright white. So let's put a little bit in our plate here. Now, a lot of people use egg cartons. I use those sometimes, but I do use plates a lot. And for those of you that are just hopping on or new, I am Pam Savage with Young at Heart Creations. I live in Sherman, Texas, and been married for almost 43, 44 years now. And I've been doing this a long, long time. Never had this avenue of internet and live Facebooks, and so this is a whole new world for me, but I am so much enjoying it, and I cannot wait to get back to having the paint parties. Lots of people asking, when are you going to do parties? Well, with COVID-19, we can't really do that right now, but it's getting close, so that we'll be able to use the places. Now, once you've traced your pattern on here on your paper, or you've cut it out, what I did was base coated, and then I used graphite paper. You can get this off of Amazon. In fact, I think I have it linked on my website, youngatheartcreations.com. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, any place like that. And so you just put that under your piece. Now, if you're doing something especially white, you want to be careful because this is graphite paper, carbon paper, and it will come off on your piece. So you want to be very careful. And what I did is just laid it down under my pattern and then just took a pencil and traced very lightly. You don't want it so dark that you can't cover it. So I traced it very lightly on there, and that's all I've done so far. I've got the brown base coated, and so right now we're going to go, let's paint the little stars so that they can be drying, and we're going to give his hat a base coat in white. So let's get the little stars going here. Did anybody do anything special for Memorial Day with all the weather? I know a lot of people that I've watched today on Facebook said it was raining and nasty there too. So they just were kind of lazy and did things inside. And that's kind of what we did. We weren't lazy. We've got a bunch done today. My husband's been real busy doing some little honeydew things around the house that he was going to try to catch up on. Now I'm going to get this all over me. I always do. So I'm making sure that I paint the edges, and we're just going to get a good first coat on it. And we're going to have 3 stars that go across this little hat band. So let's go ahead and just get a quick coat on all of them, because it's going to take at least 2 coats on those. And I just got these little stars. I just got those at Hobby Lobby. They came in a package of, I think 8 to 10. And they were just $3 and something. But I used my coupon, so I didn't pay that much for them. Our Hobby Lobby opened back up 2 weeks ago. But they haven't gotten, last time I was in there, they hadn't gotten any trucks. So their shelves were really bare, but everything in the store, I mean almost everything in the store, was at least 50% off, and anything Easter was 80% off, and some other items like that. I mean, so now's the time, if you're wanting anything, if your Hobby Lobby's open, now's the time to go check them out, because they were, everything was on sale, and the shelves were just bare. And I asked them, I said, are you guys going out of business? Is there something we haven't heard about? And they said, no, we just can't get a truck to replenish everything. We're having a hard time catching up. So I was so glad to hear that they weren't going out of business. But it was so nice to get things on sale. They've had the paint on sale. Well, this is the 3rd week now, going in the 3rd week, because they've been open 2 weeks. This is the 3rd week, and they've had it on sale 30% off. Now, they didn't have all the colors that I needed, but they did have a lot. And so that was nice that they had it on sale. So I'm sure they're trying to kind of sell it out so they can get fresh and new. But it was so nice to go back in there. Oh, it stopped storming now. I can hear all the frogs chirping out my window. Okay, so we got just 1 coat on the little stars. And I'm going to go ahead, since this wood is so dark here, I mean, it's just a naturally dark wood. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do a quick white base coat on that, just so our colors will show up. Well, I take that back, because I've already got the pattern on here. Let's just do where our white is going to be. So on this one, it's going to be red, white, red, white. So we want to start with the white, and I'm using, this is a Crafter's Choice, and it's a 3/4 inch flat. See how the edge is flat across the top? So it's just flat across there, it gives you a good edge. So we're going to go down right. I've already got my lines. Now you can't see them, but the lines on the hat, I've already got them drawn off. And this wood is very coarse. Holding it up there so y'all couldn't see it. And I'm not too worried about covering that pencil line or that graphite paper line with the white, because I'm going to come back over and meet it with the red. Now see how I'm holding my brush? I've got it standing straight up. You can do a straight line that way, and then, or you can hold it flat and do a straight line that way. Some of these are pretty wide stripes. I just dripped a little bit of white on that. Always got my handy dandy baby wipes here. Okay, and we're going to go over that with blue anyway. So I just put my baby wipe. I've always got a wet cloth over here that I dry my, or kind of dampen my brushes on. So I'm just loading that on both sides. And when I get down to his hat band, I'm just touching where that hat band starts. Nice long strokes. And you want to be sure and get your edge as well, where the stripe is. We've been having a lot of things for our seniors. I don't know if you saw on my Facebook page, we had painted a lot of senior, I guess you'd call them ornaments, little graduation hats with a scripture on it, and gave them a bunch of goodie bags because they didn't get to have their normal graduation. Hi, Crystal Dawn. Are you painting with me? Did you get yours base coated? Hi, Shelly. Glad to see that you're on. If you just hopped on, this is what we're painting right now. We're just doing a little patriotic bear since it's Memorial Day. And happy Memorial Day to everyone out there. And thank you so much for those that serve. And for those of you that just have memories of those that served, we love you and we thank you for your sacrifice. If it wasn't for those men and women, we wouldn't be able to sit here and do this right now. Okay, so I've got white there. So the next one will be red and the next one will be white. So the whiter ones are the white. So again, I'm just going to come right down here where his hat been, and I've got that drawn on there. And laying that flat brush just right up against that edge. And with this kind of wood, this lawn, I guess is what you say, is really coarse. So it does take a little bit of paint to fill in those ridges. I'm going to hold it straight up and get that line that I want. My husband put out fertilizer yesterday, so he was thrilled to see the rain coming in enough to get it wet and saturated. A little more paint there. And again, I'm using the Americana Snow White, Titanium White. So it's kind of a bright white, but I wanted it to be bright for this. I like to use it for my snow when we're doing Christmassy things. So I'm just holding that brush straight up and down, and I'm using the edge here to get right up against that pencil mark. I've been seeing so many acts of kindness on Facebook that people have done with the social distancing, and so many of the family members going to nursing homes and standing at the window and talking to their loved ones through the window. I'm just flicking this white everywhere, y'all. It really doesn't matter there because I'm going to go over that with black, so it'll be fun. Okay, so we've got base coat of white on those stripes, but it's going to need another coat, so I'm going to let it dry just a little bit. Crystal says she's going to watch for a few and then start painting. Finished cooking dinner. Yeah, I fixed dinner just before I came up here. I got it going. I was watching somebody else do a live, and it smelled so good. The whole house smells good. It really smells good, but I haven't eaten yet. So if y'all hear my stomach growling during this, that's why. Okay, I think this first one's dry enough to go back over it with a second coat, just for time's sake. I would probably let it dry a little longer. Okay, let's let that dry for just a minute. Wash that brush out. I've always got a cup of water here that I really wash my brushes out in between because I don't like them getting loaded up and gunked up with stuff. Okay, I was showing them, while that's drying a minute, I was showing the girls, several of you have just hopped on, just finished this last night, and I thought it was kind of patriotic, so I brought it on because it's red, white, and blue. But I'm going to do something really special with it, or different with it. I hope it works out. I'm still working on it, so I should have it finished by tomorrow, and I'll let you guys see it tomorrow. Okay. Hi, Darren Savage. Darren's my son down the street. Okay, so what we've got done so far, we've got his white stripes, and I already had him base coated, and that's just a honey brown, Americana, chocolate brown, I believe is what it was called, but I lightened it just a little bit to a little bit more of a honey brown. Okay, so while we're waiting on that white to dry, let's go ahead and do, let's put another coat on our stars. That first coat should be dry enough now. And I'm going to go to just a little bit smaller brush. I always get my brush wet first and then just wipe it off on the rag or the towel. And again, y'all, apologize for my allergy voice. Make sure you get your edges good. And then we're going to go over this with a final coat of glitter. So it doesn't have to be perfect covered on here, because that glitter is going to cover up some of it. And the little stars go across his hat band. Whoop. There we go. Finally, I'm so excited. I finally had my first hummingbird this week. I've had my feeder out, but I hadn't seen any hummingbirds. We've had lots of woodpeckers, the big red-headed woodpeckers, and the painted buntings, which are beautiful. If you've never seen one, look them up. They almost look like a baby parrot with all the colors that they have, and we just started having those just a couple of years ago. We'd never had them before. We couldn't figure out what they were. The first one we saw, we thought somebody's pet bird had gotten out, because it just looked like an exotic bird, just the colors and everything on it. It's about the size, a little bit bigger than a sparrow, but they just have just a rainbow assortment of colors on them. They are beautiful. And I think the difference is, and we've had a lot of red birds, but the difference is the feed that I'm using. I'm just regular bird seed from Walmart, but then they also have a bag. It's got fruit and nuts and things in it. And ever since we started putting that out, we've had more varieties of bird than we've ever seen before. The squirrels fight for it too. And so do the pigeons, but they're so big they can't get on it. So I always put some on the ground for them. I know my husband said, "Where are all these weeds coming from?" Sorry, it's the bird seed. I can't let them go hungry. Okay, so that's enough on our stars. That's 2 coat on the little stars. And these stars are a little bit smaller than what's on here, but they're going to work just fine. I got busy last week, I guess you saw on Facebook, and got several things cut out. My bandsaw, one of the belts broke in it, and it's a 9-inch. So I can't get very large items in there, like a 20-inch door hanger. I can't do that on that. So we're looking into getting a bigger bandsaw, so I can do a little more cutting. I'd love to have a laser cutter, but they start at about $5,000, so we won't be doing that anytime soon anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead while that white is finishing. Let's do the hat band, and that is, we're going to use Royal Navy, Americana Royal Navy. It's a really pretty blue. That just looks patriotic. And I'm going to use the same brush, 3/4 inch, and it's the Royal Crafter's Choice. So I'm going to load it just like I did when I was doing the stripes. We're just going to go both sides here and just load it up pretty good. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Let me know if you can't. But I'm going to start where my pencil line is. Ooh, look how pretty and bright blue that is. Isn't that pretty? And it covers really well. I like to use it on a lot of things. Okay, and I'm just going straight up and down, following my pencil line that I already had drawn on there, and just making sure to get right up to that white. Now on the MDF or the pine, you wouldn't have to load your brush quite as much, but this would it's just a little coarse. I just dipped in that white by accident. Okay, and I'm holding mine right down on this ferrule. The metal part down here that holds the bristles is called the ferrule, and I'm just holding right down towards it. For me, it gives me better control of the brush. And Crystal, I realized several nights later that I charged you wrong for your blanks. For these, they're half of what, so I owe you $10. I either owe you $10 or you can put it towards something else or whatever you want to do, but we'll work that out. But while I was thinking about it, I wanted to let you know that. See, this wood, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's got little indentions in it. It's not the smoothest. Well, and I did this one backwards I didn't do the smooth side. It does have a smooth and a rough side, but I accidentally traced the pattern and everything on the rough side, but by the time I realized it, it was too late to change it because it was about time to go for the live, so we're just going to go with it. Okay, now I'm going to turn it upside down. Now look, he's already starting to kind of look cute. I just got my hand. Must have some white on my hand. Get that off. There we go. What will we do without the baby wipes when you're painting? This white up here on the stripe still wet. That's why it's getting all over me. My husband and I have been watching a movie every night this week. And this weekend it's been so yucky. We've just stayed around the house, and he just had some minor surgery, so he hasn't been doing a lot. And we thought, ooh, if this is what retirement's like, this is gonna be fun. He's been cleaning the kitchen every day. He's been cooking out on the grill, and he smoked some ribs yesterday, and he did a lot of honeydew lists, and he said, I think you need a new bandsaw. This one's too small. And I'm going, okay. I'm not arguing. It's been nice for us. We are just best friends. We always have been, and we just love being together. No matter what we're doing, we just love doing it together. He loves going antique shopping with me when we do that, and he's so good at some of the things that has to do with, he's really good at hanging things even on the wall, or getting the hangers and things on the back of some of my like windows and things like that are heavy. He is so good about getting them so even and in the right spot. And he's been helping me with my displays for the craft show that's coming up in November. I had to do some tweaking on those. Okay, so I need to make sure I get the edges. So I'm just going to turn it around here. And I'm just kind of patting it on. If you rub it down, if you take it and rub it on the edges down, you're going to have a bunch of paint up here, which is fine. Just be sure that you smooth it out. You don't want a big blob of paint up there. And if you dab it on like that, you don't get as much of it on the back of your piece. Now this guy is not quite 12 inches tall. He's just about, just a hair over 11. So he's really a little bit smaller than what a door hanger would be. But he would be, I mean, he'd still be cute as a door hanger, but he would be cute on a wreath or like a welcome sign. Put it as your O or something. It would just be a cute little gift to do. Okay, I don't think we're even going to need a second coat on this blue. Let me just smooth some stuff out there. It covered really well. That's just one coat, and it covered so good. And that is, again, that's called Royal Navy, Americana Royal Navy. So it's doing really well. Hi, Lynn, my Canada buddy. Glad you're watching. I apologize to him that I haven't been on here in so long. But with worked Saturday and husband had surgery. We've had company. And it's just been busy, busy, busy. So, Leanne, this is what we're painting right now. Since it's Memorial Day, I thought we'd do something patriotic. And I just finished, thought this was patriotic since it was red, white, and blue, kind of, sort of, too. So, got that one done, but I'm finished painting it. But I'm doing something really special with it tomorrow. So, I'll show you guys when we get done with that. And then, what else did I paint? Okay. Let me get this edge over here before I forget, and I'll show you something else that I did. I've been a busy little beaver. I guess I need to just start letting y'all paint with me. I've been painting downstairs so that I could be with David. I didn't want to be upstairs and away from him the whole weekend. So I just set up on our kitchen table like I used to all the time. But it's so nice having a room up here that I don't have to get stuff out, put stuff up, get stuff out, put it up. I can just leave it out. But anyway, so I went downstairs. Okay, so we've got one coat of that, and it covered really, really well. So we do not need to do a second coat. But I got to ask your opinion on something that I was working on. Okay, I do think we need one more coat of white on that stripes. Okay, for those of you that went to the Nashville Live, we saw that the boxes that we bought from Tamara and Michael that they made, just simple boxes out of some of the scraps that they had. I guess you call them shadow boxes. I don't know. But I've never painted a lemon, and lemons are the thing right now. So I was trying to think, well, what could I do with the lemon? So I printed out just a little lemon pattern. And I painted the box, the sides of the box, green. I think it, I don't remember the color of the green, but when we do it, I'll show you. And then I just kind of brushed some white over it to make it look a little aged, I guess, or I don't know. And I haven't decided what I'm going to finish it with, but this is what I came up with. So tell me what you think about it. I hope you can see it there. So that's what I did, and I thought, well, do I need to write something on the lemon that says, you know, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade or something? I don't know. Or does it look fine just plain? Does it look okay just like that? I haven't put a hanger or anything on it yet, but so that's my attempt at a lemon, the first lemon I've ever done. So I did that one. Believe it or not, I did it in under an hour. Okay, so let's put right quick one more coat of white on the, get all that blue, but that blue is hard to get out because it is kind of like black. It's overpowering. But let's put another little coat of white on here, just a little bit over the, because I can see my brush strokes there and see some of the wood underneath it. But we're also going to put, I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but see the glitter on his hat, on the stripes? We're going to put some glitter over it, so that's going to help as well. Okay, so we got the white on there, so let's go ahead and do our red on the stripes. Now on the red, we'll need to go all the way down the sides, the edges there. And for the red, I'm going to use Americana Tomato Red. I really like it. Okay, if any of you smarties on there, Leanne, I have my iPad up, I have my business page up, and I'm wanting to see comments on my iPad and not my phone. How do I do that? Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I've got my page pulled up, but I don't know what, I can't see. I mean, I just see my page. I don't see any comments. I don't see the live at all. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so let's get our red and do our stripes. And again, I'm using that 3/4 inch Crafter's Choice Royal. I keep wanting to say Royal Flush. I don't even play cards, but anyway, it's a Crafter's Choice Royal inlay nickel. It's a 3/4 inch, and I really like it. It really, it's held up really well, and it's got a plastic or a rubber grip on it, so it makes it really comfortable. Okay, so we're going to do the red here. Leanne is from Canada. I watch her quite often, and Leanne, feel free to put your business name on there or your link on there. But I was watching her yesterday or day before, and she was saying it was really warm up there. She finally had to turn her air conditioner on, and I thought, it's Canada. I can't believe, I don't think of Canada as ever getting really warm. She said she lives really close to Niagara Falls. So I guess it does get hot up there too. Okay, so I'm going right down up next to that white, and I'm covering, if the pencil line, my trace mark didn't cover with the white, I'm covering it with the red. And I'm going to go right along that hat band there. This tomato red, it really covers well. Sometimes some reds are really hard to get to cover. You have to do sometimes 3 or 4 coats with them. But this tomato red, I found that it really has good coverage on it. Now this wood is really rough. Again, I probably won't use it again. I'm just not impressed with it at all. But it will probably be a lot easier if I'd have done it on the right side. This is the rough side. I should have done it on the smooth side. And I just wasn't paying attention and did the wrong side. But he's still cute. I mean, he's still working out cute. It's just a little harder to paint, and it's taking a little more paint to get down in all the grooves on it. I still like the MDF best, but it's hard to find sometimes. Yes, Home Depot, but I know Lowe's carries it some places, but not all places. Okay, I'm just getting that edge real good, and don't forget the edge up top. And I'm just patting it on so I'm not making a big ridge on it. Leanne painted the cutest flamingo on her live the other day. She was so cute. It was a special order that she was doing, and it was so cute. So y'all have to go check hers out. If I wasn't doing a live, I could think of what her business name is, but when you go live, your brain kind of forgets everything that you're supposed to be doing. Even if I don't have time to watch somebody paint live, I love watching Leanne because of her accent. She's, not that I don't have an accent, I mean I have a Texas accent, but she has that Canadian accent, and I just love it because everything to me with that accent sounds like a question. When they're making a statement, it still sounds like a question, and I could just sit and listen to her for hours. Okay, so we're going to do the middle stripe. Just get right up to that blue, that hat band. And then just long stroke. Now I just dipped my hand in that red, so I want to be careful and not get it on the white here. Now when you do stand it straight up and down, you do get a little bit of a ridge that you need to smooth out. The boot that I just showed you that I painted, of course I get up and down and do other things too, but it took me all day to paint it because I would get up and go do laundry and whatever. But even not doing that, Tamara painted it on a live. It's her design, Southern Adornments Decor, but she painted the thing, and I don't think it even took her an hour to do it. And I'm watching her twist that little brush and everything. I'm going, girl, I cannot do it. I'm just not a fast painter at all. But I've gotten faster than I was. I'm used to just getting up here in my little zone and turning my music on, zoning out. But I've had to put it in high gear because the craft show's in November, and I know that sounds like it's a long time away, but it's not when you've got a whole garage and room full of stuff you need to paint. I'm getting a little bench ready to paint little boy's dinosaur on it. Or I may do a monkey, I'm not sure. Probably a dinosaur though on that one. I try to have something for, because I do so many things for the craft show for little girls, like table and chairs and little shelves and things like that for little girls. A lot of pink and purple, pink and blue. So I try to have something for a boy, and what little boy doesn't like dinosaurs? Okay, I have to really kind of press on this brush to get that down in those ridges. I'm going to go ahead and get the tip of it, and then we're almost done with the stripes. As far as the base coating, remember base coating is always the first color or first layer that you put on the piece or the section that you're doing. So we're base coating right now. I think this base coat on this red, we're not going to have to do a second one either. This tomato red just covers so well. Okay, now this stripe on this side here gets smaller as it goes down. So I'm going to have to be really careful and not go too far over it. Okay, and I'm going to go this way with this one. I'll stand it up. I guess the best way to explain this wood is if I'm going against it, it's like going across a washboard. That's how rough it is. I've got just a little tad red on that blue there, so let me put a little more blue on there. Just right at that corner. Okay. Ooh, that made the water a pretty blue. I don't know if you can see, look how pretty blue that water is. Dirty water, but it's pretty. Okay, so got the edges there look good. So we need to do the red edges, and I'm going to have to get just a little more of that red. Not much, just enough to cover that edge, but I'm completely out. So just a little bit there. And our thought for the day, I've been trying to do a thought for the day when I go live. Somebody gave me this at work on a gift that we had gotten. And it says, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, by what you get, but by what you give. So it says, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. So I love that little saying. Kind of made me stop and think. I even wore my Patriotic red, white, and blue shirt, but the main reason I wore it is because if I get paint on it, you won't be able to see it because it'll blend in. Oh, our flowers are just blooming so pretty with all this rain that we've had, and then the sun popped out a little bit a couple of days last week and this week, so they have really been growing. And I think that's why I haven't seen the hummingbirds as much as normal, because there's just so many natural flowers. They're not needing our nectar right now. I mean, our hummingbird feeders. Okay, so we've got the blue, and he's not going to need any more, and the stripes, the base coat's done on that. So let's clean our little brush here. And I think what we will do next, while we've got the red out, let's go ahead and do his little bow down here at the bottom, his little bow. Show you the finished one. So we're going to do it in red. Let's see, can y'all see okay? Okay. All right, so let's go to this is a number 10 flat, because that edge is flat across there. These are, I got these at Joann's. That's one of our stores here in Sherman. And it's the plaid one stroke. It's Donna Dewberry brushes. I love, love, love Donna Dewberry. If y'all have not gone and watched some of her videos and her technique that she created called One Stroke, and you will see me using her techniques. Sometimes Leanne uses them a lot. She does beautiful flowers. I can't do a lot of them, but I really, really like her. But her brushes are really good. They last good, and they've got a lot of spring in them. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're using a number 10 flat, and I've got my lines already drawn here. So I'm just going to start covering it. And we're going to need some more for that. So we're talking about getting a bigger bandsaw, so we're looking at different brands, and hubby's looking at the ratings on them. Because this little 9-inch, I have cut hundreds and hundreds of projects out on it. I mean, it's been a good little saw. I got it at, I think I got it at Lowe's for $89.99 or $99.99, something like that. And it has cut, even some of my friends have used it, and they cut a lot of stuff out with it. So it's been a good little saw. It's just not, I don't know what you call it. It's not wide enough for me to get my bigger pieces in. So I don't know what that space there is called, but I need something a little bigger. This one's been handy because it is so small that I can take it anywhere if I want to, and I'll just set it on a table out in the garage, a bench, and it does really well. Okay, so I've got first coat on that. Now on that, the bow, I did have it base coated in brown just because I've gotten some brown on it from doing his face. So it's a little bit dark. It may take a little bit of a second coat. And so let's do the edges. Now you can do your bow tie in blue, you know, whatever you want to do it in. White, you don't have to do it red. That's just the way I had this one, so I just stuck with it. And I'm just smoothing it out. And I think we're going to be fine with one coat. This red, this tomato red just covers so beautifully. Okay, so we've got the base coat on that. And we'll do some shading on him here in just a minute. And if you don't like that word shading, that technique, if you haven't mastered that yet, neither have I, but I'll still give it a try. You could even use your liner brush and just line if you wanted to. And that's really all we did on this one. So we'll probably just do that. See his little bow tie there? It's just got lines with a little bit darker red in it just to show where that is. So let me grab some darker red. You'll notice a lot of my paint's gone out of here because I have been working downstairs too. I had to take a bunch of the paint down there. So let's get a darker red here so it will show up. And this is Napa red, Americana Napa red, almost a burgundy. So that'll shade that really well. But we need to let it dry a little bit. So we're not really going to shade it, we're just going to line it. So let's do now his the shading around his face, the darker brown here, and we're going to put, this doesn't have pink in his ears, but we're going to put a little bit of pink in his ears this time. And we'll do his snout. So we're going to do the shading on that. It is darker than the color that we've got here. So we're going to do a little bit of shading on that before we do the eyes so that I'm not getting my hands all in the eyes. Now on this wood, I'm not sure how the shading is going to do on this rough wood because it is so rough. We're just going to have to try it. So let's see, let me get a really dark brown to do this with. Okay, this is the Ceramicoat, and it's dark burnt umber. So it's a really dark. Now if you wanted a stained look, this burnt umber or a dark chocolate, if you don't have any stain, you can get a stained look by watering some down. Probably not quite half and half, but just put a little bit of water in it, put you some in an egg carton or something, and then just really stir some water in it until it's pretty inky. And then if you put it on like that, it'll look like a stain instead of a paint. So that's a cheap way to get a stain look. Now these paints I've had forever. And it's a dark, dark chocolate. It dries. Now remember, all paint that you have dries darker than what it looks like. Even when you're painting walls, you know, it always looks darker when it dries. Okay, so I'm going to use my number 10. Yes, this is a number 10. This is a royal brush. And I mixed this color. It's kind of a honey brown and a dark brown, so I don't have the exact color to put on it. Typically, I would put some on the bottom and some on the top, but we're just going to put some on the top edge of the brush, a triangle motion, and we're just going to kind of blend it in just a little bit. See how dark that is? That's really dark. And we're just going to go, now I've got it drawn out here, so you want this part, I've got like a triangle there, right up against that line. We're going to make his little face here. This part here that comes in front of the ear. And I'm just holding it straight up and down. See if I can get you down a little further. Crystal still needs me to do her flowers. Okay. That's the first class I'm gonna schedule when we get to start having classes again, paint parties again. So you can come and I can use yours as a sample and show them how to do it. Or I can show you one or two and you can do it. It's not hard. You just didn't get to see us do it last time, so you didn't know. Okay, so I'm just all the way across there. Okay, now see what that did? That separated his face from his ear. And I'm just going to go all the way around his face. Ooh, this is rough wood. Okay, so went all the way around the side of that face. Yay, Crystal, you did part of your flowers. I'm so proud of you. Good job. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to put just a little more water on there. And then I'm going to dab it off on my cloth. Reload it here. I want it just on the edge of it. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. And I got white all over this little guy. I'll have to kind of fix him up a little bit. Do it so you can see how I'm doing it. Straight up and down. Let me blend it a little more. Okay, there we go. Normally it would be one swoop there, but this wood is so rough. I'm having to kind of work it in there. Okay, so we got his face kind of identified there. And that was starting to get all the way across my brush and just making a harsh line. So I'm reloading. And right across his nose here. The bridge of his snout, I guess you would call it, right under his nose. we're gonna do the same thing that we just did. So I'm gonna load that again. Really work it in there. All right, now I know you probably can't see this mark on here, but I can see it. So I'm gonna hold it up and down and just right on the edge of that pencil mark, just go all the way across. And it goes all the way down. All the way down to the side of his face. And a little bit more on there. I'm going to go with it one more time. There we go. I'm going to smooth that out just a little bit. I don't know if y'all can hear those frogs out my window, but they are really loud and having a good time out there. Okay, so we've got the ears. Let's do the outside of the ears the same way. Wash that out, get a little bit on here. And I'm just back and forth, just kind of blending it in, and we're going to do the outside of the ear. These are the details that just give it so much detail. The little things. Okay, I'm going to go same thing on this one. Okay, I'm going to blend it in a little bit. There we go. Okay, he's taking shape. You see him there? Yay. Okay, let me get a message out of the way there. Okay, so we've got his everything highlighted there. Let's put just a little bit of pink in his ear. Now the original one did not have any pink in the ear, but I like some pink in there. So let's get the Americana cotton candy, and it's not going to take much. I mean, just a little bit. I'm going to get a different brush though to do that with. Let me see here. I got this off of Amazon. It's handmade by a gentleman. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of rings, wood rings that he's put together, and the base of it is real simple. And he used a CD, so that's a good way to use old CDs. But it makes it really glide. He's got one on the bottom here, and then one up there on the bottom too. But it really glides around. I just love it. Okay, so let's find, I just want to find like a little, kind of a little scruffy brush here that's worn out. And this one is. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the separating is just really kind of scruffy. So that's what we're going to use to kind of dry brush some pink in his inside of his ears. All right, I'm going to move our little stars over here so I can use this part of it. You really don't even have to pour any out. I'm just going to use the top inside the lid. I'm just going to get a little bit on this brush, and it's yeah, we'll use that one. Just going to get it just barely on the tip of it, just barely. And then I'm going to swirl it around here so that it's kind of dry. Just kind of daubing it around. And then we're just going to put it on the inside. We're just going to make a little half moon. And I'm going to get a little more of it off. And then we're just going to swirl it around. Just to give him a little bit of that inside of his ear look. And I'm really working it in there. Just want it really soft. And then we'll put some little hairs in there with this dark chocolate. All right, let's get just a little bit more. I'm putting it on, but then I'm getting most of it off. Just really working it in there. Just making my outline where I want it. Okay, and just swirl it in. You just barely want it to just give an effect of the inside of his ear. And that's why you want a brush that's, you're not going to mind messing it up a little. Need just a tad more on there. It's a rough spot of the wood. Okay, so there's the inside of his ears. Now we're going to take that dark chocolate that we shaded, that we floated everything on there, and we're going to make him some little hairs in his ears. See inside that ear there, it's got some little hairs sticking up. Okay, so we're just going to kind of flick them on. Get a little more water because that paint was dried on me. And I'm using this is a low Cornell. I think it's a 1, the number's on, but I think it's a size 1 liner. That's a 1, the low Cornell. This is a 2. See the difference in the bristles? This one's really long. And this one's just a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to flick some hairs there. And I'm just going to make them kind of curve out. Same thing on the other side. There we go. That added a lot to it. Just tiny little detail, but it sure adds so much to it. Okay, so we're going to keep on moving here. The red is dry enough now, and we're finished with our pink for now. So the red's dry enough. Let's go ahead and do that burgundy, and let's get the bow done. It's called Napa Red. So we're going to make the little details on the bow to make it look like a bow. So I first do the center, and let's see if that's really going to be dark enough what I want. Now that I'm seeing it up against it, I think I'm going to switch to Rockwood Red. Let's see what this other one looks like on it. No, that's going to do okay. All right, so we're back to the Napa Red with our liner brush. And I'm going to go ahead and do my little circle in his bow tie here. The knot. And I'm just going to line it up where the bow meets down in the crevice, top and bottom. So let's go ahead and color that in. I'll paint that in. So I'm using a round tip. This is a number 6 round. And I'm just going to paint the knot, that darker color, that Napa Red. And we're going to fill in some more here in just a second with it. Let's get that brush ready. Okay, so we're going to outline the whole bow with that Napa Red and with my liner brush, and I'm loading it pretty good. So I'm outlining the top part, the bottom, around the edges. All the way around. Oh, the birds are singing out there, the frogs are chirping. It almost sounds like a campsite out there. They're enjoying this weather. Okay, now I'm going to make the, looks like the inside of the bow here. See, I've curved it here, and it looks like the inside of the bow if you had the bow looking inside the ribbon. So I'm going to start at the top of the knot, and we're going to curve down and all the way to the end. Now, see the difference? The one that I just did the line on. Okay, so let's do it on the same one. Now, it's harder for me to pull it towards me for some reason, so I try to go out away from me as often as I can. So we're going to curve down and back up. And I'm going to fill the inside of those with this dark red, but I want it to look like some little gathers, like his bow tie's tied. So I'm going to start in the middle, the outside of the middle of that knot, and I'm going to do a long stroke, and then I'm going to go outwards and do 2 small strokes. So I hope you can see that. Just to where it looks like the knot is gathered. So we'll do that on both sides. There we go. Now I want to fill in that inside the bow with that Napa Red. And I'm going to go back to the round brush. I'm going to load it pretty good. And we're just going to fill in that top circle there so it looks like it's the inside of the bow. Okay. And I'm going to go over that knot just a little bit more. What it's showing through there. I'm shading just a little bit more around there. Now this Napa Red does not cover near as well as that tomato red. Okay, so I've got his bow tie done there, base coated and outlined. Now with my daughter, I'm going to put some dots with white. Now you can use the end of your paintbrush, just the very tip of it. My white's dried out, so let's put a little dab will do ya. Okay, now these are the daughters that I get at Hobby Lobby. Sometimes Walmart has them. but I sure like them. And I'm going to put them in groups of 3s. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's not going to take many. 1, 2, 3, like in a triangle shape. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we need another one. In the middle there. Okay, so we've got the white there, and then I'm going to put with a smaller one, just a little bit smaller. They don't have them sized, but each one comes with a different size ball on the end, that tip. So we're going to use our blue to give it some red, white, and blue. Doesn't take much. And believe it or not, y'all, we're getting close to finishing this one out, because once we get to the other parts, it's not going to take long. So right in the center of those, I'm putting the blue. Now remember, anytime you're dotting, it does take them longer to dry, so you don't want to run your hand across them. And let's go ahead and put one right in the center of that knot. Let's get our blue. Okay, and he's got a bow tie. We're going to do some highlights on it real quick. That washed out. Okay, so let's take our little, our small liner brush, and I'm going to dip it just barely in the white and give the bow just a little bit of highlights. Just barely, right up here in the inside of the bow. We're just going to put a little white line there, and a little white line there. I'm going to go around the knot just a little bit with that white. Okay, and there's our bow. Okay, now we're going to do the eyes and the eyelashes. Before we do that, let's go ahead and put our glitter on so it'll be drying. And we're going to put it just all over his hat. Let's do a little black line up here. Here we go. And that's just Americana black. Lamp ebony black is what it's called. Let's just do a little swiggly. Yeah, mine's looking really rough because of this wood, because I did it on the wrong side, but yours will look fine. Just kind of outlining it a little bit. Okay, now the glitter that I'm using, it's folk art, and it's called Glitterific. And let me tell you, it is glittery. It's almost a gluey glitter. But let's go ahead and get that glittered. And I'm going to go back to my 3/4 inch. And I'm going to put a little bit out on the plate here because it's so thick. I don't know if y'all can see how thick that is, but it's just almost a glue. I'm going to get it on both sides. It is really shining and glittering in this ring light. And we're just going to go up and down. Just get it on there good. There's all kinds of different glitters. This one's got pretty big flakes in it. Some are really fine glitter. Oops. Black was not dry. I thought it was dry. Let's just wipe that out. Good old Q-tip. I'll show you in just a second how sparkly it's getting. We're going to do his rim, the hat rim too. I just put the size, so probably about 1/4 out there, maybe not that much. Okay, I have not done the center one yet. Look at that. Look at that glitter, the difference in it. I don't have anything on that red center one, and look at the difference. So let's get it done. And I'm just going right down into that blue on his hat band because we're going to put it on there too. Okay, so now let's do his hat band. Really glittering it up. Oh, that looks so pretty. It looks so festive. Now I want to also put some on the stars. See how pretty that is, how shiny. So let's put some on the stars. Get my brush in there. Nope, that brush isn't going to fit in there. So let me get a little more out. It is so thick, it's hard to get out. Everything Folk Art makes, even their paint, is super, super thick. Okay, so let's cover our stars. So they'll be drying. I could see little girls loving this. I'm going to put it right there. And it washes out of the brush. I was afraid because it is so thick and gluey. I was afraid it wouldn't wash out of my brush, so I used a really old brush the first time I used it. But it just came right out. Okay, so those are really glistening. So pretty. Okay, all right, so I'm going to wash that out there, and we got to get his eyes done. I'm going to put just a little more on his hat band, then getting down towards the bottom. There we go. After all that's dry, I'm not going to do it tonight time-wise, but what I'll do is take hot glue gun and we'll just glue it, one in the center, one on each end of the hat band, or the hat rim, like this one, like our finished one here. Now, if you don't have any wooden stars, you could certainly just paint them on. You could paint them on and then glitter them. Okay, so we need our black. And we need our liner brush again. And we're going to do his nose, his mouth, and his eyes. Now, we're not going to get super creative with the eyes tonight, but I want you to start looking at children's books. Look at those beautiful eyes. Aren't those pretty? Adding some color into them. You can have so many different expressions with eyes. I mean, eyes can make or break a piece. But that's what I do a lot of times. I'll look at children's books for the animation, for the illustrations in them. Okay, now remember mine's still drawn on here. I can see. I know you can't see that, but I've got the pattern drawn on it. So we're going to do his first eye. And that red's not completely dry there, so I gotta be careful with that. So let's do his eyebrow. Let's go do his eyebrow, because if I do his eye and then I try to do his eyebrow, my hand's gonna be laying in that. So I'm gonna do his eyebrow right up here. And that's just kind of an upside down half U, I guess you call it. Now, eyebrows can really change the expression of a face. I mean, if you do them wrong, your face looks mean. It can look mean. It can also look sad. So you don't want a mean looking bear. We live in North Texas. We're just across the south of the Red River. And as my entire life, I've never heard of any bear around here, but we've had 2 sightings of little black bear in our area just in the last few weeks. So I don't know where they're coming from, but they are migrating down here somehow. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I don't want to run across one. We have a lot of wild hogs that do a lot of damage to our yards. But okay, so I'm loading my little liner brush, and I'm just going to outline it first. So these eyes are going to be really easy because they're all black. We're not doing the different colors and the white. So we're just going to outline it first so we can fill it in. And we're just going to do an upside down U. I ran out of paint there, so let me go back. And you're just going to meet where we did his snout. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the other one so it can be drying. I'm going to turn it upside down because it'll be a little easier for me. Okay, hope you can see that. All the way around and up. Okay, so we've got the outline for the eyes. And I'm going to take, let's see if this little filbert brush. Filbert brush is oval on the end. And this one's a number 6. Let's see if it'll work to fill it in. Now you want to be careful and not lay your hand on the black that you just did. So you want to just come right down where that snout line is and then just fill it in. And a little bit of black goes a long way. I'm having to kind of work it down in there. And then while those dry, I'm going to show you something else we're going to do. So if you have an old coffee can, a big coffee can, it's about empty, or that you can empty, don't throw it away because we're going to do something with them here soon. It's just amazed me with this Facebook Live how many different areas everybody's from. I mean, just all over the world, really. Okay, and that's all we did was the upside down U's, and we just filled them in with the black. So while that's drying, let's let that dry for just a second. I'll show you what we're going to do. I got some of the cutest napkins. Look at those chicken napkins. Tamara Bennett, I thought about you when I got these. But they're adorable. I would like to paint some of them. I was looking at them, thought, oh, I could paint that. But got a big can, so we're going to do some decoupage, some Mod Podging on it. And it's just the right size to go. So get you a can. Just take the paper off of it. We're going to paint it white so that it shows through. It might not matter with this because these napkins are gray. They have a gray background, so I might be able to get away without painting it. But typically I paint it. Let me get this other one that I just did. Finish this one. Isn't that pretty? You can just put all kinds of things in it. It was so much fun. But I thought that'd be cute. Chickens. Who doesn't like chickens? Well, I guess there's some people that doesn't. Okay, so we also need to do his nose. So let's outline the nose where it goes with the black. And again, this is just basically a U, a wide U. There's several different ways you can do their snouts. And we're going to go all the way up to the top here of that his snout. See how it's right up to that line there. Okay, so let's get it outlined. And then we'll fill it in. Let's go back to that filbert brush. I do like anything that's curved. I do like using the filbert brush because that oval end kind of really helps with those curved areas. Does anybody have big plans now that things are starting to open back up and you can go places again? Alright, let me turn it upside down here. This was kind of late to do a live tonight, this late, but there was another one that was on that I didn't want to interfere with. Okay, so we've got his nose done there. Let me smooth that out. When that light hit it, I could see a ridge there. Okay, so let's give him, her, I don't know. We're going to give him some eyelashes anyway. I don't know. I've seen some boys that have gorgeous eyelashes. So we're just going to take at the top of the eye and we're just going to flick out. And then right down here, we're going to just flick out at the corner of the eye. So we're just going to start at the eye and flick out. Going to do long, short, long, short, long, short. And I'm going to get just a little bit of water in my paint because I want it kind of an inky consistency. I'm just going to roll that liner out to a point. And I'm going to start about, not quite the top middle, but over just a little bit. I'm going to start in that eye and go out, long, short, long, short, long. Okay, and then I'm going to go up, out, and up. Now I'm going to do the other one. And let's see, we're going to start this way. You turn your piece to what's comfortable for you. If you're left-handed, it's different than if you're right-handed. So we're going to start again, and we're going to flick it out, long, short, long. Ooh, that was a thick one. A little bit too thick. This wood's so rough. And one more. Okay, I'm going to make these a little thicker since those are thick over there. Okay, and then we need to come out and down. All right, so let's put the highlights on the eyes. And we're just going to put white on both sides of each pupil here. Just going to dab that in there. Okay, so on the outside here, I'll start at the bottom and just go up. Now remember, the more pressure you put on your brush, the fatter your stroke's going to be. That's what happened with this one. I had too much pressure, but this wood is so rough, it's really hard to control. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Start at the bottom, right near the outside, and curve it in. Down, 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 up. Okay, same thing on this one. Start at the bottom, all the way up, curve in. You have to turn it around for this one. All the way down at the bottom, all the way curve in, and there you go. Look at the difference that made. But now we're going to put some little dots. And I'm just going to use the bottom of my brush, the wood end of my brush. I'm going to dip it in that white until I have something just on the end of it, almost dripping. And we're going to put it at the top of his eye here. Let's see what it looks like to put it on in the inside. Let's see what that looks like. Just going to do a small one because I want to see what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to do it on in this center. There. There. And let's put another one up here. Let's use actually the bristles on the brush. And just put a little dot right there. And right there. Okay, and I also want a highlight across the top of his nose. I'll brighten that one up a little bit. Okay, and I want to get a little bit of that dark chocolate, that burnt umber, not the dark chocolate, the burnt umber, I think is what it was called. And I'm going to go just around his ears, the pink. Turn it so it's comfortable. Okay, only thing left, we've got to do a mouth. Now his face is a little sideways. Notice how the bow tie, his head's kind of, I guess you'd say, leaning. So it's a little tricky to get that that mouth just right. So we're going to go from the center of the nose, and we're just going to go down and up, down and up. Now you might want to draw it first with the pencil. So let's do that to see what it looks like here. So we're going to go down. I'm going to make almost like an upside down candy cane. So you're going to go down and out. Down that same one. You'll hear how rough that wood is there. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see that. Actually, I can do it a little darker because we're going to go over it with black. And you can come back in this way or that way, but I've already got this one drawn, so I'm going to go this way. You could even do a little mouth here if you wanted to. And then we're going to do little smiley marks. Just little parentheses. Okay, I think you can see that. And we're going to use our liner brush. But for this one, I'm going to use the long liner brush. This one is a number 2. This is a longer one because I want to get more paint in it. And it's going to have to go a lot longer way. So I'm going to load it up here. And I'm going to start at the nose, the bottom. And lift up. Let's make us a little smiley. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this one. But I have to turn it upside down to do the other one. So I'm going to start right there where it connected. And up. And do the little smiley. Okay, I think that's it. Now we'll just have to glue the stars on. And I may go in and put a little bit of pink under his eyes for some cheeks. I don't know, but there he is. So Crystal, did you get yours done? Okay, so there's our patriotic bear. He would be so cute on a wreath or in your office cubicle. You could use him for, now you've got something for 4th of July. You've got a piece for that. Thank you so much for those of you that bought the bears and here locally, and I was able to get them to you, and that you painted with us, along with us. I hope you enjoyed that and that you learned something. Learn to check the side of your wood that you're using, because this one was the rough side and it should have been the smooth side. I just turned it over wrong. It's just not really a good kind of wood. I like the MDF or the pine better on that one. So our little guy is finished there. So tomorrow I will try to finish up the boot. So the boot's finished, but I'm going to do something with him. We're going to add something that I think you're going to like. And it's going to be for the craft show. And then we may do this soon, but here's my first attempt at a lemon that we did, or that I did. And then be looking for you a tin can. Doesn't have to be this big, but this is a nice size. You know, you could do any size. Now this one's got a very smooth inside. Some of the vegetable cans and things now, they're kind of sharp on the inside, so you have to be careful. So kind of look for that when you're looking for one too. So we will we'll do something like that. So here's the original. I did years and years and years ago. I don't even know how long it's been. It's been probably 25 years ago, 20 years, I don't know. And here's the one we did today. I can't put him up completely because the stars will fall off. But thank you. That's it. And I'm glad you joined in at an hour and a half. So that's not as bad as I usually am. So it was so good to see y'all again. I'm sorry I've been away so much. Life just happens sometimes, doesn't it? But it is so good to see you. Go check out my website, and as soon as we can start having parties again, you can use my website now to book a party. I'll let you know as soon as that is. I've got one that's already in the waiting because we had to cancel it. So that one will be the first one. I'm trying to do them on Saturdays only right now, and just 1 or 2 a month because I do still work full time. But anxious to get back to the groups and having our paint parties. I love doing that. So I'm missing y'all. But thank you for watching me. I hope you have a good night's sleep and hope you've had a good weekend and a good Memorial Day. Thank you again to all of those that have served and are serving. We love you and we appreciate you so much. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.